It is about we the people. I will represent you, and I will do going forward what I have always done looking back. I will serve you with distinction, and I will honor the 6 deeply held values that are critical to my life: respect, discipline, excellence, honesty, courage, and loyalty. And on those values, I will not negotiate with you or anyone else. And I think that's what the good, hard-working people of Northwest Florida deserve in Congress. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I want to answer a question or two before we go. There may be some questions that some of you may want to ask me that others are thinking. I'm going to take 2 questions, and then we're going to get back to visiting. I want you to enjoy the evening, the beverage, the food. Again, I want to say before I take a question, thanks to DeVoe and the host committee, thank you. I talked about what I needed. I need your support. I need you to talk for us. I need you to drive people to our website, take signs, bumper stickers. And unfortunately, I hate to tell you, but I got to have money. And I promise you, it's not as hard for you to hear me say that as it is for me to say that. It's difficult. But I do believe this with all my heart. We will have what we need to get the job done. I believe that with all my heart. The good Lord didn't bring us here, didn't bring us this far for us to fail. I believe we will be good stewards of the money that we have. I know that's hard asking people for money. We were supposed to have an event Thursday night in Panacea. My heart said no. My heart said no. So, why? Because the people along the coast are hurting right now. I've got dear friends that I've loved my whole life closing their lifelong businesses. And we were going to go down and we were going to enjoy seafood. And I was going to ask people along the coast to give money to me. My heart said no. Not the time. Not the time. Not along the coast. I have a voice that I listen to. And it's a voice that keeps me on the straight and narrow. And that's the same voice that I'm going to take to Washington, D.C. And I'm going to listen to you, the people. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm honored and humbled that you would be here. It means the world to me. Now, with that said, I'm going to take 2 questions. And is there anybody that wants to throw a question out? Yes, sir.
I'm just curious if you've had any feedback or communication with anybody on the national level in terms of their endorsing you or their support or anything like that?
The question was, have we had any communications with anyone on the national level about endorsing us? And as Gary mentioned, ABC, Association of Builders and Contractors, is the first organization that has done so. About 7 weeks ago, Jonathan Hayes, who's here today, Jonathan's our campaign manager, we went to D.C. Our campaign consultant said, do not come to D.C. until you have something to talk about. You don't need to come up here for a sightseeing tour. So once we posted our numbers in March, and we posted a little over $200,000 in 3 or 4 months that we had collected monies, we went to D.C. By that time, we felt confident we were going to qualify by petition, which we did. We saved $11,000. We're the only Republican candidate that did so. So we felt like that was being a good steward, getting almost 6,000 signatures. But in our house, we worked growing up, so hard work's not a problem. We will work hard. But we went to D.C. and we were received very well. And then shortly after that, ABC made the national endorsement. We spent our time visiting other organizations that I have been a part of. The National Chamber of Commerce, the United States Chamber of Commerce, the National Federation of Independent Businesses. Those are organizations that support small businesses. And we have met with others, obviously the National Funeral Directors Association, and we've been a member of NFDA for quite some time. We believe that because of the bravery of ABC, they stepped out, and we believe that people took notice. The poll came out, was released in the Washington Post. Last week we were in USA Today. We've been in New York. We've been in the New York Times. We're starting to get national attention. And the blogosphere is talking about CD2. Congressman Boyd was one of 5 congressmen around the country that flip-flopped. Yep. He voted against the health care bill last year and then voted for it. Yep. He is on a lot of targets. He's on a lot of lists as a target. So we believe this will be a national race. And we are optimistic that we will have the wind in our sails that we need when we need it.
Hope to see
Yes.
on TV.
Thank you. Well, and let me say this. There's a reason you haven't seen us on TV yet, and you haven't heard us on radio yet. We will shoot when we see the white of their eyes.
Is that a question you?
I'm sorry? Well, you get to ask the question. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What makes you think that you won't change? Because every time we send someone...
You should have taken mine.
Yeah.
What's your favorite color? Every time we send someone to D.C., they change. Because if they don't change, they don't bring anything to them. And we're in a hell of a mess right now. And it would take a true man to go up there and be what you stand here and say you'll be.
Well, first of all, let me say this. I am far more, I was blessed, I was blessed to grow up in a home where we were taught early right from wrong. I understand right from wrong. I was born and raised in a family of faith. It would be very wrong for me to come to any town and answer that question without telling you deep in my heart why I know I can go and withstand that temptation. It would be wrong of me to not allude to my deep abiding faith. You know, when we send men and women around the world and they get in foxholes in battle, they rely on their faith. A lot of prayer. A lot of people came to know God in a foxhole. I'm telling you, Washington, D.C. is a war. I will draw nigh to my God, I know. I will tell you, the older I get, the smarter my mom and dad get. And I'm amazed as I go through this campaign how I keep running back to the lessons of my youth. Of my youth. It's really not any more complicated than that. I have men in my life that care for me greatly, that I have deep, strong, abiding friendships with. One of those just happened to drive here from Tampa today. And these are men that care for me, and these are men that tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. And they expect the same thing from me because they know that when you go to war, you don't go by yourself. You need accountability. You need men that hold you to your values and hold you to the things that are right. I would agree. I'm disappointed that we send men up there that go D.C. on us. I will say this, though. They're not all bad. I have met some good men in D.C. I have. And they just need help. They need help. They're not all bad. Please believe me, the good ones, well, they're not going to be headliners in the New York Times. The good ones, they're not going to be the headliners on MSNBC. The good ones, they're not going to be invited to CNN. They're not. The good ones are quietly doing what they do, not for the fanfare. They're doing what they're doing because it's right. It's right. And so I want to join them, DeVoe. They need help. The Paul Ryans, the Eric Cantors, okay, the Mike Pences of the world. These are guys that are doing what they're doing because it's right. And those are men that I'm proud will be supporting Steve Southerland for Congress. And I'm honored to have their support. Bill, you were going to ask, and I know we're at three.
He touched on
we're in the bonus round.
Healthcare legislation, amend or repeal.
Well, healthcare legislation, amend or repeal. You can't repeal it until you have the White House, and that's just a fact. So therefore, the Republicans are going to have to, if they go in and they sweep, they're going to have to defund it in 2010, and then repeal it in 2012. I have signed a commitment with Club for Growth that I would, in fact, be a part of repealing that bill. So I've made it public. Rocky, only because you're your family.
Well, I hope it's a little bit more than that. Let me just make DeVoe feel a little bit better about his question. DeVoe, Steve's got to go back next summer to the 119th.